loading, guys. Sorry.
All righty, guys. Welcome back. Episode 3 of the Playbook podcast. Really excited to be here today. Of course, I am your co-host, Nick, and of course, I'm joined here by my good friends Trey and Jaden. We have a really fun episode for you guys today. We're going to talk a lot of football. Week 3, we're going to talk Shohei Ohtani and some of the great stuff he's been doing. We're going to be able to get to some college football. And, of course, some other sports. I'm excited to talk about some F1 today for all my F1 enjoyers, all 3 of you in the United States. Let's go, guys. We're really excited to talk about this, but we're going to go ahead and jump right in here. Last week, we had our episode Wednesday, so, of course, it was the day before Thursday Night Football. And, of course, that game was the Patriots facing the New York Jets. And Aaron Rodgers, he finally had a good game. He finally had a solid game. His first solid game, I think, in a while. Obviously, his best game as a Jet by far. There's 3 of them, so there's not a lot to go off of there. But they pull out the win, 24-3. Aaron Rodgers threw for 281 yards, 2 touchdowns, looked pretty good. I know it's the woeful Patriots, but where do we see the Jets going this season? Are they in any kind of viable threat in that division or even in the AFC, Trey? What do you think?
I don't think the AFC, but for sure the division. I think Aaron Rodgers looked spectacular. Like, he looked like the old Aaron Rodgers from old.
He looked good. He looked good.
He still proves he's that bad man, but but yeah, he still is, man. But I think they'll make a threat to the AFC East. I think Bills will still win that division, and then right behind them will be the Jets.
Okay. Do you see him making the playoffs as the 2 seed in that division?
I do. Maybe a wild card.
Wild card. Yeah, for sure.
The place that they're facing.
Yeah.
If the Chiefs open versus the Chiefs, they're good.
Well, yeah, fair enough. What about you, Jaden? Where do you see the Jets going?
I agree. I think they have a chance of at least making the division finals, but definitely a contender for the playoffs. I mean, if the biggest thing is Aaron Rodgers has to keep these numbers up.
Mm-hmm.
Right. This can't just be one good game for him if he wants to, make it as far as they want to go. But I guess we'll just have to see if this is the same Aaron Rodgers that we've seen in the past.
Yeah, for sure. There's not much to go on this game, to be honest. It was kind of, if you watched it, it was a little boring at times, mainly due to the complete dysfunction of the Patriots. And honestly, I want to commend Jacoby Brissett because I watched him get hit and hit and hit, and he was laying on the ground. He looked like he was in pain, and he's doing that so Drake May doesn't go out there and die, literally. Yeah. I mean, I really commend what Jacoby Brissett is doing. I think he's helping Drake May a lot, saving his career probably, because we've seen a lot of young quarterbacks get into a situation like this where their O-line is not great. We're going to talk about another young QB who has a suspect O-line here in a little bit. But I thought overall it was a great game for Aaron Rodgers. He was moving around well. He ran a couple of times. And, hey, that 40-year-old man still got some strong legs. Okay, that he was showing us that Achilles is feeling good. He had some swagger back, and I'm interested to see they get another pretty easy game. No disrespect to the Broncos next week, so that'll be another chance for Aaron Rodgers and the Jets to keep it going. So that was Thursday Night Football. Overall, a pretty boring game, but it was good to see Aaron Rodgers back in action and playing well.
I mean, the Broncos though beat the Buccaneers though.
Well, we'll talk about the Broncos a little bit. I don't really know what's happening in the NFL right now.
Yeah,
I don't know who's good. I think I know 2 teams are good, and we'll talk about those 2 teams. But I think there's 2 for sure good teams in the NFL, and it's just up in the air for everyone else. Like, honestly, I don't know who's good. I don't know.
A lot of weird games.
It's a lot of weird games. It's just a strange season, guy. We're gonna talk about Sam Darnold, some other guys too. It's just strange what's happening. It feels odd. No one can throw anymore. Like, defenses are super good. I feel like I'm watching 90s ball. It's really strange, but
Yeah.
it's weird. I don't really know what's happening, but yeah, overall decent Thursday night game. We're going to move on here, talk a little bit about another young QB who has had some struggles on the O-line. The Chicago Bears taking on the Indianapolis Colts. This game saw the Colts winning 21-16. This was another interesting game because I felt like each team was creating turnovers and getting pressure, but overall the Colts did pull it out. Caleb had obviously his best game of his career. He had a big day throwing the ball. He couldn't pull the win out. But I just kind of want to ask you guys, is it time to panic on Caleb Williams? Where's the meter on Caleb Williams now? Are we still waiting to see? Are we starting to get worried? What's the thought process going on here, Trey?
Well, there should be no worry panic button at all. I want to address something real quick that I heard. He's not a buzz. Bryce Young, people say Bryce Young is this and that. Bryce Young is benched. Okay? He's benched. Caleb Williams is just a rookie. He had more raw talent than Bryce Young. He's taller than Bryce Young.
That's not hard, to be fair.
Huh?
That's not very hard, to be fair.
Yeah.
Bryce Young's not that tall.
He's not hard. He's not tall at all. He can't. This dude's 5'10", no online. And Caleb Williams is 6'2".
I think he's about 6'1"-ish.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And there should be no mirror. No, he's still developing his game. 2 touchdowns, 363 yards is pretty good. I know the defense collapsed though. That defense collapsed towards the end. But no, I don't think there should be no panic button at all.
Yeah. I'm gonna go real quick, then I'll jump it to you, Jaden. I kind of want to get in here on this. I think a lot of people, I think specifically what CJ Stroud did last year, kind of twisted everyone's thoughts on what a rookie QB should be able to do.
Right.
So I'm going to go over some stats here. This is Caleb Williams every game this year. Tell me what you notice here. So game 1, he has 93 yards and a 55 passer rating. Horrible. That was a bad game. His game 1, we all know that was a horrible game.
Yeah.
A debacle. Just bad, right? Moving on, week 2, he throws for 174 yards and he has a 51 passer rating. Okay, that's pretty. It's still not great. He had 2 interceptions that game as well, but it was better. He's actually broke 100 yards. And then, of course, this game, he has 363 yards and 2 touchdowns and an 80 passer rating. So if we notice here, he's literally doubling his passing yards each week. So next week, I fully expect him to throw for 700 yards. I'm really looking forward to that game because he just doubles his passing yards each game. So I'm really looking forward to that. Obviously, he won't do that, but he's already shown progression, like major progression. I watched that game, the Colts game, and he had some awesome throws, and he only got sacked 4 times, which is way better than last game and way better than week 1. And I want you guys to understand something here. The Colts going into this game, we're giving up, I think I remember correctly, it's 230 rushing yards per game to opposing. And it's obviously only 2 games, but so far in the season, they have had no run defense whatsoever. DeForest Buckner's out, one of their best defenders. They can't stop the run. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then DeAndre Swift goes in here and has 13 carries for 20 yards. I know they're in some math for you guys. That's 1.5 yards a carry.
Man.
Caleb Williams had no run game. His O-line is shredded, and he threw for 363 yards and 2 touchdowns. He had 2 interceptions. I get it. But and some people say, well, 50 of his yards were on a Hail Mary. Okay, he still had 300 plus yards. He played a great game. He's already shown progression. He's not a bust. Chicago fans, don't panic. Yes, he's still better than Justin Fields.
Way better.
For sure. We'll talk about the Steelers later. He's in his first year. He's in game 3, and he already has a higher his career high on passing yards. is higher than Justin Fields. I don't think Justin Fields has ever thrown for 300 yards. I'd have to double check that, but I know he's never thrown for 363 yards. So I'm thinking no on the panic button. Let's chill. Let's let the guy learn how to play NFL football. And especially in this era of two high safeties, Vic Fangio defense is all over the place. No one wants to give up the big play. No one wants to give up this two high safeties. No one's in the box. Tampa 2, all this stuff. Linebackers in the middle of the field. Safeties dropping. It's not a passing friendly league anymore.
Yeah.
And he has to go through this. And he was the man at USC, and he was faster than everyone. He's not faster than everyone anymore, but his arm is special. His arm is special.
For sure.
And if you give him some time to develop and you get him a more consistent O-line, he'll show you something great. So that's my thoughts on Caleb Williams. Jaden, no panic button. No panic button. Let's chill. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think the Bears losing is a Caleb Williams problem, considering that, he's improved every single game. And I mean, he put out 363 yards this game. I just think it all comes down to, the people around him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, especially, his O-line. I mean, yes, he got less. He got sacked less this game, but it's still 4 sacks in a game.
Yeah.
The Colts, Anthony Richardson only got sacked once.
Yeah, exactly.
Anthony Richardson didn't throw any touchdowns at all, too. So.
Well, that was a rough game for Anthony Richardson. That was rough. He reminds me of me when I was 8 years old playing Madden. What I mean by that is that I feel like every play, he just wants to throw it as deep as he possibly can. He doesn't know what a check down is. He doesn't know what dumping it up. Like, it's me when I was a kid on Madden. I was just like bombs away, bombs away, bombs away. And he has all the talent in the world, and he just can't throw a short pass. I don't know what. It's like a mental block with him or something. It's like he sees a guy sitting in the route and the check down, but he's like, oh well, Alec Pierce is 80 yards downfield. I'm going to try to hit him in stride. And sometimes he does, and it's really impressive. Yeah. But this game, he was not able to do so. But Jonathan Taylor, man, had a great game, a welcome back party for him. Overall, I thought it was Caleb Williams just trying to overcome his O-line. He has good weapons. Rome Odunze had a great game on my bench in fantasy. Of course, he's on my bench when he decides to go for 2 touchdowns. Neither here nor there. Or 1 touchdown and 112 yards. But Cole Kmet had another great game. I think Caleb's going to be fine. Just give him time. Give him time, and he'll figure it out. So moving on here, we're going to go over to another. I just feel like every game I've mentioned this year is weird. Yeah. Can I get a normal game, like, for once, please?
Yeah.
We have the Vikings. They beat the Texans 34-7.
Man. And
I don't know what's going on. I have in my notes here. Is Sam Darnold Tom Brady ? That's what I have in my notes. And I need a legitimate answer because I don't know what's happening. We were praising CJ Stroud last week, talking about how he's the new bad man and how Aaron Rodgers should move over. And then he goes and gets royally outplayed by Sam Darnold. What's going on?
I mean, he didn't have any sacks. He didn't get sacked once.
No, he did. It's like, you look here, Sam Darnold had 181 yards passing, not a lot. He had 4 touchdowns. He was killer in the red zone. Yeah. I don't know what's going on here. Literally, is Sam Darnold Tom Brady in disguise? That's my question to you guys. Trey, what do you think? Is Tom Brady under the skin there?
I mean, he's pulling Tom Brady numbers.
That's what no one's going on.
What? I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know what's going on with Sam Darnold right now. I think, man, I don't know. I'm just kind of shocked he has 4 touchdowns. It's been this good this regular season, man.
I mean,
I don't know. This is interesting.
He's playing like his first round pick. I mean, Jaden, do you have anything for me here? Did you see Tom Brady slip on a Sam Darnold skin suit before the game? And then he flew out to call his game. Like what happened here?
I just think it was definitely a weird game for sure. I mean, the Vikings are 3-0.
No, that's crazy, man.
I don't know what's happening.
3-0.
I really don't know. I mean, okay, so look here, Sam Darnold. He PFF has him graded as an 82. He's first in passing touchdowns. He has 8. Like, okay, like in all seriousness, I have no idea what this game was. The Texans have yet to play a good game all around. Like they're both all the phases. So I'm really confused. I think this is just one of those games we just chalk up. Like, don't know what happened here, because it's not like the Vikings are beating bad teams. They've beaten the Texans and the Niners.
Yeah.
And a lot of us, have the Texans winning their division and posing a threat to the Chiefs in the AFC. So it's not like that's a bad team. And obviously with Joe Mixon down, the rushing attack of the Texans is a little worse. So maybe that has something to do with it. But, Aaron Jones still having the cowboy killer, Aaron Jones, having a great season. The Vikings defense is like extremely good. I was talking about it last week, some of the things they did versus Brock Purdy, and the same thing happened here. And I mean, they had, Jonathan Greenard had 3 sacks and a lot, like I don't even know what's going on. I don't know. Brian Flores is a stud. He's a great defensive coordinator. Yeah. I don't really know. Do you guys got anything else for me on this, or are we just leaving it up to Tom Brady is actually Sam Darnold in disguise?
Yeah, Tom Brady.
Other way around. Sam Darnold is.
Yeah.
He's Tom Brady, man.
Yeah, I think he's Tom Brady.
He's Thomas Everett Patrick Brady Jr.
Yeah, I think so. One of my theories is the reason Tom Brady's having such a struggle announcing games is because that's actually robot Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Real Tom Brady is in Sam Darnold.
Yeah, he is.
So
they switch roles.
They switch roles. Like the robot Tom Brady's like trying to actually learn how to be a human, while Tom Brady's throwing dots as Sam Darnold.
Yeah,
really strange. I like can't even have a serious analysis on this game because I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, the
That
Texans
team's tearing it up.
The Texans were favored to win by 1.5.
Yeah, and this game was in
Minnesota.
In Minnesota, so actually, so in a neutral field, it'd actually be a 4.5 point spread in Houston's favor. So, when you get favored, even if it's not a lot, but if Vegas has you favored when you're playing away, that means they just think you're a better team.
Yeah.
Okay, you lost by 27 points.
I don't know. It's just insane.
I don't know. This is a strange game. This just more and more about the strangeness of this season. But yeah, we're gonna move on here to another. I mean, I have in my notes here, is Andy Dalton the best quarterback in the NFL? That's what I have in my notes here. Because you want to know something? Guess how many quarterbacks have thrown for 300 plus yards and 3 touchdowns this season? It's 1, and it's Andy Dalton, and he's played 1 game. So the Red Rifle, shines in the Panthers' first win since December 17th, by the way. This is the Panthers' 3rd win in 19 games or something like that. So, and in the main story, the main thing I want to ask you guys here, is this a Bryce Young thing? Is this showing that Bryce Young just isn't a starting level quarterback in the NFL? Is this showing that maybe if you're tall enough to see over your offensive line, you can play? I don't mean to be disrespectful to Bryce Young, but it's really starting to feel that way. Like maybe he's just physically limited to where he can't see like legitimately. And I don't mean to be mean. And the Raiders don't have a bad defense. They have Max Crosby. So is he the reason for the Panthers shortcoming, or is this just one of those things where the veteran backup comes in and makes some plays, Trey?
I think Bryce Young is a problem. You see in Alabama, those are kids, so kind of like figure out who they are. Still adults, but not like grown adults like these people are in the NFL. Because the NFL and college football is two different things.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got grown men trying to kill you, take your head off. And then Dalton improved. You look like the old one from the Bengals, right? You look
Mm-hmm.
I mean, man, tore it up. So Bryce Young is a problem. He's 5'10".
Yeah.
He can't. I mean, we're bigger than the guy. I think we're all three bigger than the guy probably without pads. And
Yeah, I think maybe with pads too.
maybe with pads too. Yeah. I went to the Catball game. Not trying to diminish Catball high school at all. And I looked at the TV. He was the same size as Bryce Young, man. He's the same size as Bryce Young, and that's why they lost that game too. Because all on because man he can't see, and that's what things with Bryce Young. He can't.
I,
He's
I just
5'10",
I,
and he's not.
I
And people say Cowboys is a buzz. No, he's a buzz.
I mean, like Andy Dalton has all the same player, and now Deontay Johnson looks like prime Devontae Adams. I'm like, these are all the same players. Is the one that Bryce Young was playing? Is they didn't get a new O line? They didn't get a new receiving core. And maybe this will help Bryce Young learn to trust his guys, because I know he had a really bad season last year. Maybe he's struggling trusting his guys, especially the O line. Maybe it'll help him. Maybe he'll be able to come back or go somewhere else and make a difference. But I'm not so sure. Jaden?
Well, I also think it's a Bryce Young problem. I mean, I was watching a clip, and with almost every throw, he has to jump so that way he can make it over
You
everybody.
can see, man, looking like Kevin Hart out there, man.
So, I mean, I know it's not necessarily his fault that he's put in that position, but I mean, something's got to change. I mean, I don't think. I mean, he has to look up and over to see his people, or because I mean, in front of him is just a bunch of. He can't see past all the defenders.
Yeah.
So, I mean, not saying that he's necessarily a bad player. I mean, he made it to the NFL being his height. So
Obviously, yeah.
I just think they have to really either change things up, maybe run the ball a little more than they do pass, or I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm rooting for the guy. I don't want to like try to tear down anyone, of course, but man, it's just really rough seeing, Bryce Young struggle, and then Andy Dalton comes in with the same squad and looks like he has probably the best quarterback performance of the year so far.
Yeah.
You might be able to give that to Josh Allen. We'll talk about him a little later, but he either the first or second best performance the QB's had in 3 weeks. And he had 123 rating. That's, incredible, almost 9 yards per attempt. He was 26 of 37. He's very, very efficient as well. Like I said, and some of his touchdown throws were just dime pieces, like bucket, like dropping it right in the bucket.
Yeah.
Very, very impressive stuff. This is the only time we'll probably ever talk about the Panthers. No disrespect, because and you never know, but yeah, it's just really, really interesting. And I don't really have much on the Raiders. It's the Raiders. So we're gonna move on here, and we're gonna be jumping to the Cardinals game. This was one of the afternoon games. This was a very interesting game for the Lions. They bounced back after a pretty rough loss last week. Do we still see the Lions being able to make a deep run in the NFC? They were my preseason Super Bowl NFC pick, like making it to the Super Bowl. They're my preseason NFC pick. This game makes me feel good about that still, because they can run the ball. They can just run the freaking ball. It's unbelievable, the tandem. But how deep do we see the Lions being able to go realistically this year, Trey?
I think if healthy, if Jared Goff looked like he did on Sunday, I think they made it to the NFC Championship game, maybe the Super Bowl. The run is really good. David Montgomery he's a beast.
He's a
He looks like Marshawn Lynch.
He does. He looks like baby beast mode. He
He
does.
looks like him.
Yeah.
But even that defense is too. It's stacked. That defense is stacked.
Yeah, for sure.
And but I think if they stay healthy, if Jared Goff looks like he did on Sunday, for sure.
Yeah, Jaden.
Yeah, I mean, they ever since before a few weeks ago, they weren't giving David Montgomery the ball that much until they went into that overtime.
The overtime versus the Rams. Yep,
ran the ball all the way down the field by himself.
Every play.
I mean, I think since then his numbers have went up, and I think that's been a big contributing factor to their success. I mean, they definitely bounced back pretty good from last week. So,
yeah,
I think they have a very good chance of, winning their division, and they have a good shot at the Super Bowl if they keep this up.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. Like I said, they were my preseason pick. I'm gonna stick with it. I'm not gonna leave. I believe in Dan Campbell as a coach. I believe in this run game. And the more and more I watch these games, the more I realize if you can run the ball, you're gonna have a chance in January to make a big play, to make a big push to the playoffs and then deep into the playoffs. Flipping over to the other side of the ball, the Cardinals, the offense looked a little rough. Marvin Harrison had 11 targets, only caught 5 passes for 64 yards. He did have a touchdown. He had a couple drops. Yeah. It wasn't obviously nearly as bad as his first game where he had 4 yards, but I think that the Cardinals maybe were a little too high on their horse after last week, and they got humbled, and getting the ball ran on you 40 times will humble you, especially when you give up 5.2 yards a carry to Jahmyr Gibbs and almost 5 yards a carry to David Montgomery. I mean, that's quite the tandem, though. You got thunder and lightning right there. I mean, they were literally. Absolutely. So, I mean, 2 absolute stud running backs, a pretty good quarterback, and a great coach. And I still think they could definitely, especially with the Niners having the injury bug, I could definitely see the Lions making it all the way to the Super Bowl. But yeah, that was that one. We're gonna move on to the most dreaded part. The most dreaded part of every podcast, I feel like, especially the last 2 weeks. I want you guys watching to pause. I want you to pause right now. Go back to last week. Find what I said about the Cowboys and what the Ravens should do. Come back to this episode after that and let me know how you think I did in predicting the game. John Harbaugh watches the Playbook podcast. He does. Mm-hmm. He watches it because look at this. What did I say? Guys? I said the Cowboys can't stop the run. Obviously, everyone knows that. But what did I say specifically? Run it straight into Micah Parsons and make him do something. Well, guess what they did? They ran for 274 yards and had 3 touchdowns on the ground.
Oh, my word.
Man.
I'm going to go first here because I can't believe my eyes. I literally can't believe my eyes. The Cowboys had a fake comeback in the fourth quarter like they always do. Dak Prescott's numbers looked gaudy because of it. The Ravens did. To be fair, they did almost blow the game, and then Lamar sealed it for him on a couple awesome plays. But I'm going to go over here, okay? This is the last 2 seasons for the Cowboys. This is every loss they've had. This is the amount of rushing yards they've given up in every one of those games. So dating back to last year, Arizona, they gave up 222 yards rushing. The Niners, when they got rock stomped in primetime, 170 yards rushing. Philly, when they lost to Philly last year, 109 yards rushing. That's not terrible, but it's still over 100 yards. When Buffalo embarrassed them and made them look like a pathetic waste of a franchise, 266 rushing yards. Miami, when they lost that game, they only gave up 91 rushing yards. But if you watch that game, that was a very strange one because that was the Tony Pollard fumble on the goal line. So that one, 91's not terrible. Moving on to Green Bay in the playoffs. Aaron Jones Cowboy killer. They gave him 143 rushing yards. And then last week to the Saints, they gave him 190 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns. And like I just said, this week, they gave up 274 yards rushing.
Wow.
We already had a moment of silence for the Cowboys, but
Say it again, man. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah, that's it.
About all they deserve.
That's about all they deserve. I'm about to start, a funeral fund for this team. It's so over. Guys, these, I kid you not, Trey, I know you cover some high school sports here in Amarillo. I want you to, I guarantee you, Caprock, their running back would probably get 150 yards on the Cowboys.
They would. They definitely would.
It's actually so embarrassing to live in Texas and to like even associate with the Cowboys at this point.
Well, I'm gonna go next because I'm a Cowboys fan.
Are you still a Cowboys fan?
No, not right now. I'm not. I may not be for the rest of the season after this season, man. Here's the deal. I've been a Cowboys fan since I was 6 years old. Since I was a kid, actually. I went to one of the games, and that was for my birthday one time. Great moment. They lost. Tony Romo got hurt, of course. Broke his collarbone. I cried too. Guess what? That defense was helping them either.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was the running back back then. I forgot his running back too, but I'm disappointed, man. I had hope. At first, I had hope beginning of the season because the way they play against the Browns. The next week, Saints blew them out. This week, Lamar Jackson had 1 touchdown. You know why? 3 for 1 touchdown. Because they figured out, you know what? They can stop the run. They run up the middle. They figured this out, man. They figured this out. And Marcus Spears yesterday on First Take and even on NFL Live and get upset that Jerry Jones has failed the Dallas Cowboys for the 5 straight years. He has failed them. We could have got Bill Belichick. Derrick Henry went for 151 and 2 touchdowns with 6 carries at possession. We could have had Derrick Henry, guys.
I want to jump in real quick, and then I'll let you finish. Jerry Jones said recently, literally in the post game press conference, that they couldn't afford. They couldn't afford Derrick Henry. He literally just lied. The Cowboys had enough money.
They could. And not only that, Derrick Henry said on the record to the NFL, ESPN, and reporters that I could have taken less money to be a Cowboy. And look what happened. This team, all the popularity, we're a bunch of divas of what Jerry Jones is. But because of Jerry Jones and maybe Stephen Jones won't fix it either. I don't think he will. We're never winning again. They can't stop the defense. I mean, I saw a game of PD going to Tascosa on homecoming. PD ran the ball down Emerald High's throat. That PD running back can run through the whole Cowboys defense. And they're only 17, 18-year-old kids. These people are grown men. They can't stop a cold, man. They can't stop a bloody nose. They can't stop anything in the run. We're literally a fraud. Stephen A. is right. We're an accident waiting to happen. That's all I gotta say.
Jaden, you want to add anything to that?
Well, I mean, there's not a whole lot more to add, other than the fact that, Lamar Jackson even got 87 yards on them. So,
because they figured this out, man.
I mean, literally, Justice Hill was averaging 6 yards a carry. I don't really know what
Not I would admit Derrick Henry. He made when we stepped on Micah Parsons, man. That was
so. And another thing about Derrick Henry, just a funny note. Remember in week 1, I think it was, Chris Collinsworth kept saying that he weighs 250 pounds.
Yeah.
Well, on this broadcast, he gained 20 pounds because they were saying he weighs 270 pounds. So in 2 weeks, Derrick Henry's gained 20 pounds.
Oh, my word.
That's pretty impressive.
Wow.
He's been eating good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going on here. I can't put all the blame on Dak. I know every Cowboys hater hates Dak with all their hearts. I
Yeah.
can't put it all on him. I can't, because that defense is atrocious, and his GM did not give him a running back who can actually run the ball.
Mm-hmm.
They are a lot like Colorado in the sense that they can't run the ball. That's the only similarities they have, because they're I would love to have Travis Hunter on the Cowboys right now.
Same.
Right now. You don't know why? Because he's nasty. He's aggressive. He would actually try to stop a human being running the ball towards him. The Cowboys, I can't even speak. I can't even speak. It's the most embarrassing, disgusting. And Micah Parsons, real quick, buddy. After the game, he talked about how everyone was trying to be Superman and how everyone needs to just stay in and do their thing. He was talking about that. I want you to watch some film. When you and your D-line are watching film and they see you trying to make a big play and be Superman, and you don't keep contained on Lamar Jackson, he gets an easy 12 yards, they're going to be staring at you in practice in the film room. They're going to be staring at you because he said, no, we need to quit being Superman. Well, why don't you be Superman for once? Why don't you actually do something? You want to be paid? You want to be paid like TJ Watt? Then play like him. Play like him. You want to be paid like Myles Garrett? Then play like him.
Yeah, 5 tackles the whole game. 5 tackles.
5 tackles. He hasn't had a sack since week 1. I'm sorry. TJ Watt. Wait, that's not happening to him.
Yeah.
TJ Watt got a sack on Joe Alt, who's apparently the greatest guard of all time, the greatest offensive lineman of all time. And TJ Watt got a sack on him. I want to see anything. I just because right now this defense is flatlined. It's over. I thought Mike Zimmer was going to be a good addition. We talked about in the week 1 win. We like the way the defense looks. Turns out the Browns are just actually horrible. And that's why the Cowboys look good. I mean, it's really bad because, and this is how you know when the team just time to pack it up, the kicker's the best player on the team. Today, if I had an opportunity to keep a single person on the Cowboys and start the entire roster over, I'd pick Brendan Aubrey, and I'm not even kidding. He hit a 65-yard field goal, and it looked like a chip shot. I would keep him. Everyone else gets cut. Everyone. Micah, CD, Dak, I don't care. Come join me on the couch on Sundays and we'll watch the games together because y'all are all getting cut and Brandon Aubrey's staying. This is embarrassing.
And Micah Parsons is not Lawrence Taylor. I never want to hear that ever again. That's actually a blasphemous take. He's not LT. LT puts fear in you. He put fear in you big time. He didn't go his direction at all when he ran the ball. Or he's going to tear you up. He ain't LT. He ain't. 11 from heavens, 11 from nowhere. 20 years.
It's so bad that I legitimately think it's on the board. The Cowboys win 1 game all year if every team just runs at them. Make them stop it somehow. The only I genuinely, obviously they'll win more than 1 game, but I just run the ball. This Thursday, we're going to talk about it. The Cowboys play the Giants. And just a quick, sneak peek on my thoughts on that game. I have the Giants winning.
Okay.
Quick sneak peek. I'll talk about it. We'll talk about it a little later. We're going to move on from the cow schmucks because I'm sick of them. They actually put me in a bad mood, so I'm gonna try to get out of this. We'll talk about the Niners, so I'll be in a good mood again because they lost. Moving on here, the injured Niners blow a lead to an even more injured Rams team. McVay, an early Coach of the Year candidate, what he's been able to do with this team is next to unbelievable. I'm truly so impressed with him. I'm super impressed with Matthew Stafford. I'm extremely impressed with Kyren Williams, who had a fantastic game, especially in fantasy. Guess what? He was on my bench. It's okay. It happens. But yeah, they go out there. They make an incredible comeback win, even, in the midst of Juwan Jennings looking like prime Greg Jennings. I mean, it's just I don't really know what happened because here I'm going to tell you the story of this game. So Niners were up 14-0. Rams made it 7-14, and then the Niners scored again. It was 21-7, and I fell asleep, and I woke up and checked my phone, and the Rams had won. And I went back and watched the game. But it's really, really impressive stuff by Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford. So my question here is Sean McVay like early coach of the year candidate or coach of the year in general? And do the Niners have a chance of digging themselves out of this hole and winning the West? What do y'all think, Trey?
I think Coach McVay is a good candidate. I think what he's done without Aaron Donald, because I will admit I was a little questionable about because of that defense without Aaron Donald, but they look really good. They really do. And with the Niners, they need CMC back as soon as possible. He put him out last year in the playoffs. So did actually the whole season back actually when he walked pretty near the big play gave the CMC. So, but as far as digging it out of the hole, they can do it, but not without CMC or not without him or Debo, because they run the offense.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I mean, I still think that. I mean, he played better, but I still don't think this is the same Brock Purdy that we've seen from last year. I definitely think that they can, pull themselves out of this hole. I don't know, what's necessarily wrong with them, but I mean, I don't know. I think they have a good shot at pulling themselves out of this, but they got to work for it.
Yeah, I think so. In week 1, we talked about because Jordan Mason had a great game. I think Jordan Mason's still been really good. He broke his touchdown streak this game. He wasn't able to score one. He still had over 4 yards of carry. We're right about average. I think the thing they miss the most, obviously CMC just in general, and we're going to talk about his injury in a little bit, but CMC offered Brock Purdy a level of safety that Jordan Mason can't, because Jordan Mason's not the receiver CMC is.
Oh, I agree.
CMC's obviously one of the best runners in football. I think him and Saquon are probably the best just straight up runners of the football. But CMC is like a top 10 receiver, like just in general. That might be a little generous, probably top 15. But just having that guy who you can give a screen to and he can go score you a touchdown, they missed that. Obviously, there was no Debo, there was no George Kittle, and there was no CMC, and apparently no Brandon Ayuk because he is MIA since he signed that big contract. I think he misses that the most. George Kittle was another safety blanket, but you can't use the injury card here because Matthew Stafford doesn't have a working wide receiver, and he's on his 17th left tackle. So you can't say, well, Brock didn't have all his guys, that's why he didn't win. Neither did the guy on the other side of the field. And while I think Brock played a good game, he had 137 rating, 3 touchdowns. All of them were to Juwan Jennings Moss, of course, but because apparently he's Randy Moss now. But, there was a chance for Brock to win. He missed a seam ball to Ayuk. And those things happen. I'm not going to kill him for it because this was a weird game, where you're wait, how did this happen? How did they win? I think Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay, that combo is just so deadly. They're just Matthew Stafford is awesome. And if you look at his stats, he didn't have mind-boggling stats, but he did what he needed to do, which was not turn the ball over. Turnovers were going to kill you in this game. And Brock Purdy had a turnover. He lost a fumble, and that kind of changed the game. And Kyren Williams, they fed him, and he found the end zone. Ended up finding the end zone 3 times, twice on the ground, once through the air. But if you look at the receiving core here of the Rams right now, without their 2 star wide receivers, you have Tutu Atwell, Jordan Whittington, who's a I think he and Colby Parkinson, new guys. Parkinson's a tight end, and then you got Demarcus Robinson, Tyler Johnson. You don't know most of those guys. Nobody knows most of those guys.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, I like no disrespect. I know Colby Parkinson, Tutu Atwell, Demarcus Robinson, and I don't like none of these guys. Anyone really knows because they're not supposed to be in this position, but they're rising up. They're making good plays. They're not, dominating the game or anything, but they're making good plays. They have a smart quarterback. They have, in my opinion, the best coach in the NFL, Sean McVay, and between him and Andy Reid. No, of course, Andy Reid's probably the best, but Sean McVay, at least a top 2 coach in the NFL, and they're just winning games. And if they can keep afloat and these Rams can get healthy, I know this is their first win of the season. If they can maybe get 1 or 2 more, get Cooper Kupp back, potentially get Puka Nacua back, who knows what happens? Yeah,
Jaden did you have to win the division?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely still possible because the Niners are 1-2. The Seahawks are 3-0, but they've had kind of a soft schedule. I think they'll probably regress a little bit.
Yeah.
I like Sean McVay. I'm a Sean McVay believer. I would literally do anything for him to be the coach of the Cowboys. I mean, I'm dead serious. Sean McVay. Oh man, he's a wizard, man. He's a wizard.
He is.
I want to briefly touch on CMC's injury real quick. Reports are he's going to Germany to see a stem cell therapist. It's the same guy that helped Aaron Rodgers.
This is LeBron too.
Who knows? He's helped. This guy's helped everybody. I believe Kobe also got the same procedure as well when he tore his ACL. Tore his Achilles back in 2013. So this is, Germany's the best of the best for this, but this also means bad news for the Niners because if CMC is getting this treatment done, I've read reports that it takes about 6 weeks to see any kind of actual benefits from this procedure. So that would mean 6 weeks out plus probably another week or 2 of ramping up. So at best, we'd see CMC back in 8 weeks. Can the Niners hold on for 8 weeks without their best player? I don't know.
I don't think they can because CMC, he brought it up. He always built out Brock Purdy, and Jordan Mason can't do that. He can't. He's a good runner, but he can't do what CMC did.
Yeah,
that's why he's a big key. Why he went to the Super Bowl last year? I think he should win. I think, in my opinion, he should win MVP last year.
He was my MVP as well.
Yeah,
he's my MVP as well.
Also Lamar Jackson, but CMC built out Brock Purdy a lot. Here's the reason why Brock Purdy look good, not elite, but look good.
Yeah. I'm worried for the Niners because of that. I mean, maybe they can keep afloat. I mean, that defense is not as impressive as I thought it was going to be with Nick Bosa. Fred Warner is obviously a very, 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 very good, but overall, I'm worried.
Yeah,
I'm worried.
I think that if CMC, gets his procedure, I think if the Niners can hold on enough to get to the playoffs, I think maybe he can, come back for the playoffs, and I think that would be great for the Niners to have him for maybe the playoffs. But I mean, it's for him to have this procedure and him have a shot at coming back for any point in the season. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, for sure. I'm worried, but Kyle Shanahan's a good coach. They got talent. Get Debo back, get Kittle back. They're going to win some games, so they'll probably be okay. But I'm not very high. I didn't pick them to win the Super Bowl or to even make it or to win the NFC. And I think this is one of the reasons I was worried about injuries. So
yeah.
Moving on here to the Kansas City Chiefs. They somehow pulled it out again. They beat the Falcons in Sunday Night Football, 22-17. This was Patrick Mahomes' return game to Atlanta, and I mean return game because he played a preseason game in that same stadium when he had kind of his like, oh my goodness, can this guy actually play football moment when he hit Tyreek Hill with like a 70-yard bomb. It was unbelievable. But that was his first game back. The Chiefs pull it out 22-17. Patrick Mahomes, again, not a Mahomes-like game. 217 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had a pretty bad interception.
Yeah.
But that defense really, really stepped up. They were awesome. Is the three-peat still on the board for these Chiefs? Are we worried about anything? Or are they just doing what the Chiefs do, which is look horrible or bad to horrible, but somehow still win in the regular season and then dominate in the postseason? What are you thinking, Trey?
I think they still can three-peat because I'm not trying to compare it to the Patriots, but look at the pictures of Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. And Brady didn't play that good because they put him out. Defense did. And defense was the biggest key why Tom Brady won 6-7 rings. Because especially with Bill Belichick. But yeah, I think they can three-peat still. They're my Super Bowl pick, by the way.
I think they're all of our Super Bowl picks.
Yeah. I trust him Mahomes. I trust him. He's the best player in football. But
yeah,
the one person I'm worried about, I think Rashee Rice has really been a bonus.
He's awesome.
I know he had 1 yard. I mean, not 1 yard. Oh, my bad. What that was that? 110 yards. But I think with Xavier Worthy too. But kind of like the Patriots, man, with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, they didn't spell them out. That's a big key. A big key, especially with the Chiefs.
Yeah,
definitely.
I think the biggest thing with the Chiefs is, they play a somewhat decent game, and then the other team pulls ahead, and we're like, oh my word, the Chiefs are about to lose, and they start, but somehow in the fourth quarter they always find a way to pull it off.
It's so like I feel like the Chiefs have like an aura of like the opposing team is so scared. And that goes to show in one of these plays. I think it was in the fourth quarter. It was in the second to last Falcons drive. They had a chance to kick a field goal and make it a 2-point game.
Yeah.
And instead of kicking a chip shot, they went for it on 4th and 1 and didn't get it. And then they went down and they had to kick another field goal. And instead of being up by 1, they were still down by 3 or down by 2 or down by 3. And it was just like, you only did that because you're so terrified of Mahomes and the Chiefs. That's the only reason you did that. And they have this like ability to make teams worse.
Yeah.
It's just like
kind of like the Patriots.
Yeah, they have an aura of like people think of the 2019, 2020, 2021 Mahomes where he was, throwing bombs everywhere and scoring 40 points and doing all this crazy stuff. And that's not really what Mahomes does anymore because it's not what his personnel is built for. And they still think that, and they're like, we got to go down on this. We got to get this 4th and 1. We got to get it. We got to get it because they're going to go down and score. When in all reality, they're only down by 5. Just kick it.
Yeah.
Kick it, then go back down, kick another 1 yard by 1. Instead, it's bad. It's they make the other coach terrified. They terrify the other team, and that causes moments like this where that defense and Spagnuolo's defense can just clamp down and I don't know that
like it seems like the Patriots, man, with Belichick and Brady. When Brady didn't play that good, because he bailed him out, the defense did.
Yeah, and I mean Mahomes spent the first 3 years of his career bailing out his bad defense, and now they're paying him back, and they're paying him back in spades.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Chiefs are, by the way, one of the 2 teams that I know are good.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, I have 2 teams I know are good. The Chiefs are one of them. We'll talk about the other one literally next.
Bijan Robinson, by the way, he looked terrible except for that one play.
Bijan had some struggles. It was very obvious Steve Spagnuolo wanted to clamp him up, and that's what they did. They said, Kirk Cousins, you have to beat us. Bijan's not going to get crazy yards. He had 31 yards on 16 carries. I mean, that looks like a Cowboys running back right there. That's bad. That's
I'll
really,
take over
really
Zeke.
bad. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. He's obviously talented. And the game plan was very much so keep him out of the game. He still scored a touchdown, but he was very ineffective on the ground, and that definitely helped him in the long run. But, yeah, Chiefs, one of the two good teams in the NFL. Moving on here, moving on to the doubleheader on Monday night. We had one really awesome game and one really not so awesome game. We're going to talk about the not so awesome game first. The Bills dominate the Jacksonville Jaguars on Monday Night Football, 47-10. I mean, just an absolute beatdown. Josh Allen, an incredible performance, 263 yards in the air, 4 passing touchdowns, 142 passer rating. In my opinion, that's probably the best performance a QB's had. He looked, I mean, and then he added another 44 yards on the ground. Josh Allen looks unbelievable right now. I think if the season ended right now, he'd very obviously be the MVP.
I agree.
What are the chances of Josh Allen being able to keep this performance up, and does he have a legitimate shot to be the MVP this year, Trey?
I think he'll keep it up. I think without Stephon Diggs, he looks a lot happier. Looks a lot more better. Because Stephon Diggs was kind of pressuring him a little bit, giving the ball.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Situations that shouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
I think second best QB behind Mahomes.
Easily.
Easily for me. I mean, it ain't CJ Stroud, Aaron Rodgers. I don't want to hear that. Because people are saying that Aaron Rodgers is the second best QB, by the way, believe it or not. But Josh Allen, that guy ain't playing Superman football like he did before. He has to look smart in the pocket. When he's a rush. But he's a baller, man. I get it. The Jags were a good team last year and the year before that. It's not a mediocre team. They're not. The Jags ain't. This year they are a little bit, but people need to quit acting like this team has been bad for like 5 years already or 3 years. Because this team tore it up 2 years ago against the Chiefs. Went head to head with the Chiefs actually.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Josh Allen, he's gonna win MVP. If it's season ended today, I think I have him right now MVP.
Yeah, I think he's very obviously the MVP right now. Jaden, what you think about this?
Well, their past 2 games they have beat their they've won by double digits.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and it's not even like by like 10 or like 12 points. The past 2 games against the Jaguars was 47-10, and against the Dolphins it was 31-10. So they're just mowing through teams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I mean Josh Allen is putting on an absolute show this season. He's doing great. So
yeah, he's 7 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He has yet to turn the ball over this year. I think it's obviously at some point he will. But the biggest knock on him in previous years was he's doing too much. He's playing Superman. He turns the ball over. He makes some boneheaded plays. He has been actually unbelievably good this year. I know they have. So the Dolphins, Tua was in that game for at least, I think it was in the third quarter when he got injured. Mm-hmm. So they beat the Cardinals in week 1. They dominate the spiraling Jags. I get that they haven't had the most impressive wins, but they are the second team that I know is good. I know they're good because, one, they have the second best quarterback in football. It's Josh Allen.
Right.
It's Josh Allen. I get CJ Stroud. I get all the Lamar Jackson. With all due respect to those great players, I think Josh Allen's the second best quarterback in the NFL. They have him. They have a good running back in James Cook. He wasn't able to really get going this week, but when he doesn't, they have one of the best running backs in the NFL, Josh Allen. When he runs the ball, he's when he runs the ball, he's as deadly as anyone. I think him and Lamar Jackson are the two, and we're going to talk about another guy who's deadly running in here in a little bit. But him and Lamar are the 2 best running quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah.
And Josh Allen also has a rail cannon of an arm. I mean, I think him and Anthony Richardson probably have this just the straight up strongest arms in general, just in pure power, unbelievably powerful arms. But the Bills look good, man. The Bills look extremely good.
Really good.
They do.
They were my pick in that division. I was like, no way the Jets were going to win that division, in my opinion. And the Bills are proving my point, which is they have the best quarterback in the division. Sean McDermott's a great coach. I don't think he's the best coach, but he's a great coach. They have plenty of weapons. People were so scared of Stephon Diggs leaving. Khalil Shakir is a good wide receiver. He's good.
Yeah.
He's a good wide receiver. Dalton Kincaid is a good tight end. I think Keon Coleman will be a good wide receiver. He's a good rookie. They have plenty of weapons. They have plenty of people for Josh Allen to get the ball to, and he's doing effectively. And Joe Brady, that I give tons of credit to Joe Brady, their offensive coordinator. He's had some great game plans. I'm really impressed with the Bills. Moving on to the not so impressive side of that ball. Is it panic mode for Trevor Lawrence? Is it time, guys? Like, he has lost, I believe, 8 straight games now. Are we? What's the meter? Where are we at? Where are we at on Trevor?
Weird, man. I mean, Nick Rice said it on First Things First. He ain't the same, man. He ain't. Mahomes Mountain he needs to be off that mountain big time, bro. He needs to be off Mahomes Mountain. He needs to be off that quarterback tier.
He's on the bottom.
He needs to be off it. Period. He's the prince. The prince is missing right now. He calls it prince, right? He's missing right now. They need to put an Amber Alert warning for Trevor Lawrence. He's showing up. I mean, yeah, one touchdown, one interception, man. This guy.
That interception was to DeMar Hamlin, and it was a horrible throw.
Yeah, I agree. It was terrible. By the way, good to see DeMar Hamlin out there. I know he died 2 years ago in the field. Guy's doing healthy now. That was insane scene, by the way. But man, I don't know. Trevor Lawrence. I'm worried about the guy. There needs to be like a police out there for him because he's missing right now.
It's bad.
Yeah.
Jaden?
No, I don't really have anything else to say. I mean,
yeah, it's just bad.
Put an Amber Alert out there for him, guys.
I don't want to put it all on Trevor. Of course, he's not playing good. His team's not good.
I don't know what happened, man.
Their defense can't. Their defense is horrible. He has like okay weapons. I don't think he's got the greatest weapons. He's got a solid running back in ETN, but this team is in a full out funk. They have lost 8 or 7 games in a row. Yeah. They were 8-3 going into, fighting for the 1 seed last year in Monday Night Football. Trevor Lawrence had a high ankle sprain, and since then they have not won a single game, and it's been really, really bad. It's been really bad. I'm scared. I'm worried. I think that they should get Bill Belichick. They need to get Bill Belichick is what they need to do, and just let him do everything. Let him do everything. Let him completely take the team over. And I think that's probably one of the only hopes. I believe in Trevor as a talent. Trevor's extremely talented. Sure. He's tall. He's got a good arm, but something's wrong, and I don't know what it is. And he needs a quarterback whisperer. He needs Sean McVay. I think everyone needs Sean McVay, actually, except Patrick Mahomes because he has Andy Reid
and Josh Allen too.
And Josh Allen wouldn't mind him, but he probably doesn't need him. But Joe Brady's awesome. So, yeah, just an absolute beatdown. Not much to pull away from this other than that the Bills are good and the Jags are not. So, great analysis brought to you by the Playbook Podcast right there. The Bills are good. The Jags are not. Man.
The Jags suck.
They're very, very good. We're going to move over to the other game in the doubleheader, the actual good game. The Washington Commanders taking on the Cincinnati Bengals and winning that game 38-33. They win a shootout. That's a shootout versus the now 0-3 Bengals. Jaden Daniels had his welcome to the NFL moment. I think he's been pretty solid the first 2 weeks, but he went 21 of 23, 254 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 141 passer rating, an extra 39 yards on the ground, and a touchdown, three touchdowns total. It's one of the best games the rookie quarterbacks ever played. He outdueled Joe Burrow in prime time.
Man.
It's like, obviously, Jaden Daniels is the rookie of the year right now.
I agree.
I think we can all agree on that.
Sure.
The only other person I think who even has a claim would be Malik Neighbors. We're going to talk about him when we preview the Thursday night game. Malik Neighbors is the only one with a claim, but Jaden Daniels has been unbelievable. So I kind of want to ask you guys, is this proof? Is this just going to show how bad the Bengals defense is? Is this showing how good Jaden Daniels is? Is it a mixture of both? What's going on here, Trey?
I think it's a mixture of both. I think because you look at against the Chiefs, the Bengals defense was really good, but fortunately, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase didn't link last week. But Joe Burrow, he had a good game, 3 touchdowns, 24 yards in the air, but he cannot. I mean, I've heard people say this a lot about NFL football. You can't kick field goals. Field goals will lose your games. Touchdowns will win you games. And
Specifically field goals in the red zone.
Yeah, specifically that, yeah. But Jaden Daniels, that guy, man,
he's awesome.
Yeah, that Juki had against the Bengals defense at one point.
Oof.
Man,
he's awesome.
He put him on skates, man.
He is awesome.
Like Chris says, give that guy a map.
Give that guy a map. I mean, he was gone.
But man, I think Commanders will. I think Commanders will win the division.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
I think so.
Okay, Jaden, what do you think?
Well, as a fellow Jaden, I mean, coming out as a rookie and putting out these numbers is great.
Yeah.
I mean, it
he's awesome.
It definitely was good for the Commanders to pick up Jaden Daniels.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and as far as Joe Burrow, I mean, he is still. I don't know. I mean, he's not necessarily playing bad, but I mean, he's not playing like he was last year, and I don't know.
And you're part of that too.
I don't know. I don't know what's wrong. I don't know if he's just missing something, some boost of energy. If he's missing, I don't know what. Also, you can't put it all on Joe Burrow, but I don't know. I mean, the Commanders are looking pretty good with Jaden Daniels.
And the Bengals had T. Higgins back and Jamar Chase. They still lost the game.
Yeah,
that's insane, man.
I mean, and Jamar Chase was great. He finally had a good game. He's on my fantasy team, and I am very, very glad to see him play that well. He played great. He had 2 bombs, a 41-yard touchdown, I believe another 30-yard touchdown from Joe Burrow. I want to jump into this. First, obviously, Jaden Daniels is unbelievably good. He's the rookie of the year right now. We'll see. It's still early season. I want to move to the other side because I'm really intrigued because there's been a lot of talk about the Bengals in the media. A lot of talk because they're 0-3. I have some thoughts on Joe Burrow in general. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of people I've seen are saying it's not Joe Burrow's fault. A lot of people, very, very famous people, very, very well-known people are saying it's not Joe Burrow's fault. Mm-hmm. They said it's not his fault. His defense is playing bad. And I kind of want to give my take on this. He's played good the last 2 weeks. I think he was really good in this Commanders game. My thing is, the only reason that I don't think it's fair to say it's not Joe Burrow's fault or to not give him the blame is because, one, we don't keep that same energy with other quarterbacks. Yeah. So we're going to go into fantasy land, okay? The Ravens are 1-2 right now. They're 1-2. If they had blown that game last week and lost to the Cowboys and been 0-3, Do you know what the discourse around Lamar Jackson would have been this week?
Oh man, he got lit up.
He would have gotten lit on fire.
I mean, Stephen A. and
He's
everybody will call
he's bad. He's been like, guys, I'm worried about this guy. I'm worried about this or that. Joe Burrow goes 0-3, loses to the Commanders, a rookie quarterback, and Dan Quinn, his first year as head coach there. And everyone seemingly doesn't care. And it's really interesting to me. So I'm kind of in between. One, if your defense gives up 38 and you score 33, it's probably not your fault, but Cincinnati fans did this to themselves, so I'm going to hold them to the standard. A couple years ago, Joe Burrow was considered by the entire city of Cincinnati to be better than Patrick Mahomes. And I have a family member who will not be named, and he said that, and he said that Joe Burrow was better than Patrick Mahomes. When you get compared to Patrick Mahomes, you don't get the leeway or that kind of stuff that everyone's giving Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Well, his defense gave up 38. I don't care. I've seen Mahomes' defense give up 40, and he still won. When you get compared to the best, we have to have the expectations of the best on you. Can you imagine if Patrick Mahomes was 0-3 right now?
Oh man, bro.
People would be like, it's the Taylor Swift curse is on him and he sucks now and he's horrible. What's happening? He fell off this or that. Joe Burrow 0-3. It's okay. It's fine. You can't do that when you compare him to Mahomes. Mm-hmm. You can't.
I agree. I agree, man. Because I've heard that a lot over the media too. And that was Dak Prescott too.
Oh my Lord, Dak Prescott's 1-2, and people are at his house with pitchforks and torches, ready to like take all of his money that he got in his contract.
Yeah. Hey, Skip Bayless, where you at, man? Where's your guy at? He ain't showing up this whole year.
I'm so confused because he gets this like this benefit of the doubt that nobody else gets, not even Patrick Mahomes.
Even Tom.
I don't understand. If this was Lamar, we'd be killing him. If it was Dak, we're already killing Dak for 1-2. If this was name any kind of great quarterback, one of the, if CJ Stroud was 0-3, we'd be worried about him. Caleb's getting killed more, and Caleb's a rookie.
Yeah.
And Joe Burrow's has been in this league for a long time.
Yeah, 3 years.
And if Aaron Rodgers, I mean, all these guys, if they were the same, if Jalen Hurts was 0-3, I think the city of Philadelphia would actually like physically remove him from the squad. Like they would hold him at his house so he couldn't go to the game. I'm dead serious. But seemingly Joe Burrow gets this pass. And while I don't think it's all Joe Burrow's fault that they're 0-3, that has to be removed because he's compared to Mahomes. Yeah. It has to be, right?
Yeah.
It has to be. When you're compared to the best in the league, we expect the best to play.
They even killed Russell Wilson last year for this. The way
I've seen quarterbacks who aren't even good get held to a standard higher than Joe Burrow. Just because he went to the Super Bowl once a couple years ago, we give him this benefit of the doubt.
He hasn't been back since.
And since he beat Mahomes in that playoff game, AFC title game, he first hasn't beaten Mahomes, and he hasn't done any. I'm so confused. We have to keep the same energy with Joe Burrow. I don't care that his numbers look good. He has 2 number 1 receivers because T. Higgins is going to get a big contract and go be someone's number 1. I mean, he gets outplayed by Jaden Daniels.
Man.
Yeah.
Who's a rookie, by the way, too.
Who's a rookie who's a little bigger than Bryce Young. A little bit. He's a little bigger than Bryce Young.
He has a better arm, too.
Yeah.
Oh, Jaden Daniels' arm is unbelievable, by the way. That touchdown to Terry McLaurin, I actually stood up and I started looking around because I couldn't believe my eyes. I was looking into an imaginary camera. I was like, did that actually just happen? That was a beautiful pass.
Yeah. I think with because how we're comparing him, how he's been compared to Mahomes. I mean, Mahomes been to the Super Bowl twice and won. He's been to the Super Bowl and once. and like we're saying, he's getting nothing but like, oh, it's okay, we'll get him next time type energy. Um, but like we're saying, if Mahomes were to do that, it'd be like you've been to the Super Bowl twice and you're playing like this. Why? So I don't know. I don't know why Joe Burrow is just kind of getting swept
Yeah.
under the rug as everything's okay.
Yeah, and
I don't get it.
Mahomes is getting killed right now by people. That's because he's 3-0.
Because he's 3-0, but he's not playing well, so he's getting killed.
That's
I-
Joe Burrow lost. That doesn't make
He's
sense.
0-3. He's 0-3. And at the end of the day, if you're going to give Joe Burrow all the credit when he wins, he has to get the majority of the blame when he loses.
Yeah.
That's just the way it goes. You can't have it both ways. You can't be like Joe Burrow's the best quarterback in the NFL because he won. But when he loses, it's like, well, it's the defense's fault. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
That's not how it works. Tony Romo never got that benefit of the doubt
Oh,
ever.
no, he didn't.
No.
And I know he never went to the Super Bowl. I get it. But his defense constantly gave up 30 plus.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott obviously has never been to the Super Bowl, but every playoff game his defense wets the bed and he gets punished for it. Joe Burrow hasn't done jack since 2021, I believe. Was it 20 or 2020? It was 2020.
No, he got hurt 2020. Got hurt.
It's 2021, whichever one it was, whichever Super Bowl. He hasn't done jack in 3 years.
Yeah.
And he's 0-3, and we pretend like nothing happens. I'm so sick of that notion. We gotta have consistency and better standards for these quarterbacks. Because if Sam Darnold loses next week, he's gonna get killed.
Oh yeah, he's gonna get destroyed.
Yeah.
Oh, you lost to Malik Willis? Okay, well, Joe Burrow just lost to Jaden Daniels, who's amazing, but he's also like 25 years old. Like in his third NFL game ever. It's unbelievable the pass that Joe Burrow gets. So that's my big thing. And I watched a lot of sports shows and they were all saying it's totally fine. No, it's not.
Shannon and Steven, they were on Joe Burrow.
It's
Everybody's
not okay.
Yeah.
It's not okay. This is not. Yeah. I still think that they have the talent offensively, obviously, because you have Jamar Chase, you have T. Higgins, you get to play. So if you lose next week, they play the Panthers. This is a great game to win. If Joe Burrow gets outplayed by Andy Dalton,
They're very rocket, dude.
I want everyone in the city of Cincinnati to not say a word about football for 10 weeks. You're not allowed to speak about football. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. You have to win that game. That's a must win, literally. You can't go 0-4 and then your next game be against the Ravens. You can't do it. You cannot do it.
No.
I agree.
Can't do it. So we're going to move on here. That took a little bit longer than I was expecting, but I just had to get that off my chest. I apologize. Sorry, Joe Burrow fans. This Thursday night, we get to see the Cowboys versus the Giants. I know everyone is so excited for this game because I cannot wait to watch Daniel Jones run for 900 yards against the Cowboys. I'm really pumped for that. Just a quick preview of this game. Right now, the Cowboys are favored at 5.5. This game is in New Jersey. That line's too high. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. If the Cowboys win at all, I would be shocked. I'm dead serious. And I know the Cowboys own the Giants. I'm an ex-Cowboys fan. So I understand that they have in the past owned them. But I'm dead serious. Devin Singletary is going to get 1,000 rushing yards. And Daniel Jones might add on another 1,000, and it's gonna be bad. I promise you guys, this is the only chance the Cowboys have of like actually showing that they have a spine.
Yeah. I think the Cowboys. This is probably the chance to win. This is probably either a win or either hope or failure because if they lose this game, man, because the Giants, they're losing the division.
Real quick,
season will be over.
Real quick, I'm gonna give you their schedule: Giants, Steelers, Justin Fields is going to have a heyday on that defense running around. Lions, oh my Lord, they're going to run for 1 billion yards. Then they get the Niners. Jordan Mason's going to have a field day. Then they get Bijan Robinson in the Falcons. Then they get Saquon Barkley. Guys, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games they might lose just because they can't stop the run. So this is a must-win. Go continue. Yeah. Sorry.
I have Giants winning this. I have Cowboys winning this game, but the Giants. I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants won. Wouldn't be. They can't stop the run at all, man. I just can't get over it. You know, I think the best Cowboys defense I've seen since the '90s Cowboys was the 07-08 Cowboys defense when they lost to the Giants. But still, in my opinion, that's the best defense since the '90s. With Bill Parcells and Terrell Owens, not people in that team. This is the only hope to win. This is their chance to do something, but I don't think they can.
No.
We'll probably be last in the division, man. Probably be last.
I mean, the entirety of the Cowboys' defensive practice should be just stopping runs.
Yeah, for real.
They need to run the ball at them until they can figure out how to get it right.
What do the Cowboys do in practice? Do they just play Madden?
Yeah, or it's NCAA?
Or college football. I'm dead serious. I'm not even joking. What do they do in practice?
Yeah.
What do they do?
Because if they know they can't stop the run, then why aren't they working to stop the run?
They haven't been able to stop the run since I was 7 years old.
Yeah,
and Jerry Jones will not fix it. No. And that's a Jerry Jones issue. Why? Because he's the GM. Yeah. He's supposed to be the one who provides the personnel. He missed on the Mozzie Smith pick. And Mozzie Smith can't stop a nosebleed like Trey was saying earlier. It's bad. I expect a bad game. I want to talk quickly about Malik Neighbors, and we're going to move on. He is unbelievably good. I want to say a quick story here. During the fantasy draft, I was sitting there. I had my phone out, and I had a chance to pick Malik Neighbors. He was right there. And I think it was in the 4th round or 3rd round or something like that. I don't remember. But I was like, man, Daniel Jones is not going to be able to get him the ball. I'm scared. I'm worried. So I skipped him. What I didn't realize was that if you throw it within a 15-yard radius of Malik Neighbors, he just catches it. He will catch it if it's in the general vicinity of him. And Daniel Jones, while not a great quarterback, can still get the ball in the general vicinity of a wide receiver. Mike Zimmer, you don't watch the show, but if you do, I need you to triple team Malik Neighbors, okay? Triple team him. You need to go out there yourself and be the 3rd man on him if you need to. I don't care. Just you cannot let Daniel Jones get 14 targets on this guy because he's going to catch 12 of them, and 2 of them are going to be the most disgusting touchdown catches you've ever seen in your life. I can't take it. The city of Dallas, the state of Texas, we can't take this. No. You cannot lose and drop to 1-3. You have to stop something, and you can't stop the run, so you have to stop Malik Neighbors. That's it. Please. Please.
I hope so, man.
Not happening.
It's not going to happen, man. It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. But it should be hopefully an entertaining game. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, bro.
That's man.
I don't know. I don't know anything anymore. This season has just proved to me that you can't trust anything that happens in the offseason because especially the Cowboys, because they can't do anything. I'm done. I'm sick and tired of the Cowboys. We're going to move on here. We're going to move over to college football. We got a couple games I want to talk about. We're going to speed through a couple of these here. Moving here, my Texas Tech Red Raiders did something that the Cowboys can't do, which is win a football game. They won a football game. They beat Arizona State 30-22. That's not as close as the game was. I watched every snap of that game. Arizona State had a late touchdown with 1:44 remaining to cut the lead to 8. It was never a close game. Tech dominated from the first quarter. They scored 14, and they just never looked back after that. Taj Brooks, my GOAT, my best friend who I've never met, Taj Brooks, had another great game. He's one of the best backs in the country. They looked good. I thought this was a pretty solid game. The defense finally made some plays, which is what I wanted to see. They forced a interception. The secondary looked good. I know it's Arizona State, but I don't care. Like I said last week, what did I say last week? I don't care that it's North Texas because we barely beat ACU and we lost to a team I've never heard of in my life. So I don't care. I literally don't care. You could send out the what's the Cap Rock? What's their name?
Dude, I don't know, but he's small. He's short.
I don't care. Literally, you could send out the Amarillo Sandys, and if the Tech beat him, I'll be happy. I don't care. I literally do not care. Lubbock Cooper High, Friendship Tigers, I don't care. Send them out. If Tech beats them, I'm going to be a happy camper because it proves to me that we can win a football game, and that's all I care about. All I care about. But my question is, does this Tech team, I don't know if you guys have watched any of the games, does this Tech team have any chance to be a contender in the Big 12? Not to win the Big 12, but to be a contender.
I think so.
Same. I think they can win it all. Not the Big 12. The Big 12.
Yeah.
Not all, but the Big 12. Win the Big 12.
Okay. I was about to freak out right there. Okay.
I mean,
That'd be crazy.
they were scaring us at the beginning of their season.
Talk about scary.
But I mean, they're kind of turning things around, and I mean, they for sure have a good chance in the Big 12.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's possible if the secondary can keep going. I want to see more progression from Baron Morton. I want to see him complete more passes. We do have the best running back, I believe, in the Big 12, Taj Brooks. If you can feed him, get Barron some easy passes and play action, and just have a serviceable defense, I think it's possible. I'm worried about Iowa State. I'm worried about Oklahoma State, but that's really it. I'm happy that we won, and it was at home. I'm probably going to be going to the Cincinnati game this weekend. I'm really looking forward to that. So hopefully they win, or I'll be very angry.
You won't go every game, or what? You won't ever go again?
Oh, no. I will. And for college, it's different because the team changes so often. Yeah. Like the Cowboys, they're just cooked until Jerry Jones is not the GM anymore.
I think Stephen Jones won't do any difference either.
Well, no, he won't, which is why we have to pray that Sean McVay magically turns into our head coach.
Or Belichick.
Anybody. I don't care. It could be you, Trey. I'm dead serious.
I got you guys. Man.
Go out there for us and start calling some plays, bro.
Kenny. Listen to this, Kenny.
Anything. I'm dead serious. I'm not even kidding. There's not a single joke in my. Can you see my eyes? I'm not kidding. I don't care who it is, but I'm happy with Tech's win. I'm looking forward to the rest of the season. Hopefully, can keep improving and moving forward. Real quickly, I want to touch on this Miami game. And I only want to touch on Miami because I am so impressed with their quarterback, Cam Ward.
Man.
I think now we're going to talk about Colorado in a second. I think it's between Cam Ward and Travis Hunter for Heisman right now.
Yeah.
And I don't think that Colorado is going to win enough games for Travis Hunter to continue to be the Heisman. So Cam Ward will probably end up being mine. But the way he plays he looks like he doesn't actually want to be out on the field. He'll literally walk out of bounds. He had a play where he takes his play action. He gets the ball. He pretends like he's kind of handing the ball off to the running back. He's walking. One of the defensive linemen on the opposing team doesn't bite, tries to tackle him. He dodges like a grandma would dodge something. And the guy flies past him, and then he throws the most just nonchalant little tiny pass, and it's 15-yard play. And he's just really fun to watch. He's awesome. But yeah, that's really all I want to talk about. Cam Ward is him. That's literally it. That's all I have on my notes. Cam Ward is him. So
I think it's probably the best team since 2001, Miami Hurricanes.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure.
I think that team. I think 2001 Hurricanes is probably the best college football team ever, statistically wise and the way it dominate wise. But this is probably the best Miami Hurricane team since then, in my opinion.
Definitely. I'm really I love watching him play. Moving on here, we're going to quickly talk about this crazy game, Colorado versus Baylor. If you didn't watch it, you missed out.
Crazy.
I will give one thing to Colorado. Every game they play is entertaining because no matter who they're playing, it's going to be a close game, and that's just the way it is. Unless it's a good team, then they get blown out, or they play a really bad team, then they win. But most of the games they play are pretty entertaining. But Shedeur Sanders hit LaJohntay Wester for a Hail Mary to win the game. To send it to overtime. Then Travis Hunter seals the deal with a forced fumble on Dominic Richardson at the goal line. So my question to you guys is Travis Hunter the Heisman right now?
I think so. Yeah. I think he's one of those rare athletes you have in football. I mean, I think the one person I've seen this dominant in both sides is probably Deion Sanders in his prime. I think Shedeur, that guy's a baller, man. He plays hard out. He gives 110% every time he plays.
Mm-hmm.
I know he was getting crap from Paul Feinbaum, from stuff he was doing off the field, him and Shedeur and Deion overall. But I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought Colorado was gonna lose this game. I thought they were gonna lose this game.
Well, I mean, real quickly, they should have. And Coach Prime said this after the game. Why on earth was Wester in a 1v1 in the end zone with 0 seconds on the clock?
Yeah.
Baylor on that last play rushed 5 guys.
Man.
And I get that Colorado doesn't have a working O-line. I don't care. You send 8 or you send 3. You either send everyone you have or you send nobody. There is 0 reason why Wester should have 1v1 in the end zone with the game on the line. There should be 7 guys and your tight end in the end zone. Like Gronk would play, sometimes would go out there in 3-man deep sets. I don't care. Send your tallest offensive player out there and just let him be a body. That is horrible coaching. 0 reason why there's any opportunity. And guess what? Shedeur on that play broke out of the pocket and made a play. It didn't even matter your pressure. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
Bad. I think right now, going back to the question, I would have Travis Hunter as Heisman. What about you, Jaden?
Yeah. I agree. I mean, he's like Trey said, he puts 100%, 110% every time he plays, and he plays until the clock stops. And I mean, he's there's not much more to say other than he's brilliant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I have another quick question. Then we're going to move on. This is for you, Trey. What do you think? Why are you already laughing?
You're asking about me being Megan or what?
No, nothing about that. It's about Travis Hunter.
Okay.
Do you think he should go in the draft as a wide receiver or as a DB?
Man, he's going both sides. I think he should go as a wide receiver.
Okay.
What about you?
I think he should go as a DB because there's so many good wide receivers already.
That's true.
And there's not a lot of great corners coming out of there's good corners, right? When was the last time there was like a legitimately fantastic corner coming out of college?
Deion Sanders.
The last time I remember a top 5 pick being a corner was Jeff Okudah, and he was bad. Oh. He ended up being a bust. I think Travis Hunter should go into a DB, but I think what the team that drafts him should do is have some either goal line package for him to come in as a wide receiver or let him return punts.
Yeah, kind of like Primetime did.
Yeah, Prime would return punts and stuff like that. I think that would be good, but I think Travis Hunter would be best suited as a defender because he would be the best corner coming out of the draft.
Oh, yeah.
Easily. But I don't think he'd be the best receiver coming out of the draft.
Okay.
and that's just and I think he would go a lot higher as a DB. So that was just a quick question I want to ask you. We're going to move on to we're going to talk about one matchup here. Georgia is facing Alabama this week.
Man, good game.
This should be a good game. Let me pull this up here.
Georgia's favored to win.
I believe so. I believe Georgia Bulldogs are favored here. Let me see. I should have had this up here. Let me pull it up. Where are they at? There's a couple
points.
Favored by 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there it is. So yeah, they are favored by 2. This game is going to be played at Bryant-Denny Stadium at Saban Field.
Yeah.
I got Alabama.
Same.
I got Alabama.
I will admit, Alabama has shown me a lot without Nick Saban. I thought they were going to be like go downhill without Nick Saban.
Yeah, you did. You were low on them.
I really was.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm back on it. But Georgia, man, they're kind of a little shaky. They're a little shaky this past couple of weeks. They're not. I mean, I know it's early in the season still, but they look a lot shaky than I thought they would be.
Yeah, I think because I like Milroe more than I like Beck.
Yeah, same. I think Milroe's QB.
I think that's going to be the difference. And are you telling me that with Nick Saban on the sidelines, this team's going to let Georgia beat him? I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. And I got Georgia. I got Alabama winning this game. Should be a good one though. I'm really excited for that. But
yeah. And then that, Jalen Moreau, watch out for that dude for Heisman too. He's a sleeper.
Yeah, he's a sleeper Heisman pick for sure. He's been awesome. But yeah, I got Alabama. Give me Alabama, as Pat McAfee would say. Give me Alabama.
Give me Alabama.
Moving on here, we're going to talk a little bit about some non-football things. Just 2. We're going to cover 2 non-football things. First one I want to talk about is Shohei Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani. He recently broke a record, which was 50 home runs, 50 stolen bases. And since then, he's added on to that. He's on track for going 60-60, 60 home runs, 60 stolen bases. And my question is Shohei Ohtani the GOAT of baseball? Trey, what do you think?
I think so. I know he's still young. He's still in his prime. But what this guy's done for an MLB is pretty insane, man. Like this guy, yeah, this is career stats. Yes, 800 so far, 224 home runs in his career, 141 stolen bases, RBI is 560, batting average so far 280. That's his career batting average right now. And I love Babe Ruth, what's done for the game. For me, I love Derek Jeter. I love Aaron Hanks, Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens too, and McGuire. But Shohei Ohtani is the best baseball player ever. He's the best. I mean, this guy not only in this one,
he's unbelievable.
Also against the what was it, the World Cup, I think, in baseball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, versus America.
That pitch was insane.
And he also pitches. So he has 53 home runs and 55 stolen bases this year so far. He's second in stolen bases to Ellie De La Cruz. He's second in home runs to Aaron Judge. This guy also pitches. He hasn't pitched this year because he's coming off of Tommy John. This guy is going to pitch next year.
They said
and he's one of the best pitchers. He's one of the best pitchers, and he's arguably the best hitter. What he does is literally, it's so incredibly impressive. Barry Bonds, I have had Barry Bonds as the GOAT in my eyes for a long time now. I think I'm ready to say Shohei's the best. He's definitely the best talent I've ever seen because of his pitching ability as well. But this guy is special, and he broke his record. He made his own record, and he's continuing to break his own record. I think the Dodgers have now sealed a spot in the playoffs. We get to see him play in October. I'm so excited to watch this man in the playoffs.
They say they might pitch. He might pitch in the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't know. They'll probably not let him just because just to play it safe and just let him slug. Just let him be a slugger. But, and a team with Mookie Betts and Yamamoto and a lot of these other super talented, really awesome guys, Shohei Ohtani rises above them. And you know what I was thinking? It's like, man, can you imagine if Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout were on the same team together? That'd be special, man. That'd be so special.
Don't he put on the Angels, though, Mike Trout? They put on the Angels, man. They did.
I know.
That didn't work out at all.
It didn't work out. It's just funny because you got these two incredibly talented guys. But
hey, Shohei, man.
Shohei is awesome. Shohei is awesome. Yeah. Real quickly here before we wrap up, I want to talk about F1 for all my 3 F1 fans.
Man.
This is for all my F1 guys. This is for my homie Amish. And I got to shout out my guy Diedrich. I forgot to shout him out earlier. He wanted me to shout him out. Diedrich, man, thanks for watching. I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Moving on here to F1. Lando Norris wins the Singapore Grand Prix. He's crying. You got Trey crying, man. McLaren's second win in a row. Last week, Oscar Piastri also won. And now McLaren is firmly in control of the Constructors' Championship. You guys have no idea what I just said, but just trust me. This is really awesome because Red Bull's been dominating, and now it's McLaren's turn. It's been a really awesome F1 season because Max Verstappen doesn't win everything anymore because his teammate Sergio Perez actually forgot how to drive. So he crashes a lot and his team has to spend a lot of money on fixing his cars. So now they can't upgrade anything. So now it's just purely Max Verstappen's skill. He's obviously the best driver on the grid. He just doesn't have the fastest car anymore, but really happy. I'm a McLaren fan. I'm really glad to see them winning the Constructors' Championship, and it's been a good season, a lot of fun. We've had random Mercedes come back. We've seen Lewis Hamilton, the GOAT of F1, win a couple races. George Russell's won a couple. It's been great. It's been fun. If you don't watch F1, you should give it a try. Just give it a try.
Yeah, that car's pretty good. Actually.
Just watch one. They're on a break right now. I think the next race is coming up here in October. Red Bull literally can't do anything because they're out of money. They literally spend all money on repairs. It's actually really sad. They actually can't do anything. But yeah, it's been a great season. That wraps up episode 3 of the Playbook Podcast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and listening. We didn't have to cover as much NFL as we did last week because there weren't as many like crazy upsets, but really excited for week 4, really excited for Thursday night football. Can't wait to watch the Cowboys get rocked by the Giants in prime time. Looking forward to that. But yeah, thank you guys so much and be looking forward to episode 4 next week. We appreciate y'all.